And welcome to Chapter 6 of this VTC tutorial looking at the 294 exam. In this chapter and in Chapter 7, we're going to be looking at group policies. And we start with an overview in the chapter that begins with planning and implementing group policy. Really, these next two chapters, as we discuss group policy, could be combined into a single chapter that would go from a general background and then flow towards more specific uses of group policy objects. So we start with this overview here at the first part of Chapter 6. First of all, I want to show you Microsoft's definition of a group policy object, because as we start to work with them, we want to first be able to answer the question, what is a group policy object? It is the infrastructure within Active Directory service that enables directory-based change and configuration management of user and computer settings, including security and user data. You use group policy to find configurations for groups of users and computers. What does that mean in regular English? My definition of group policy objects is that is a collection of settings that will help you manage the things in Active Directory. Collection of configuration settings that can manage collections of Active Directory objects. What kind of Active Directory object can group policy manage? It can apply to local machines, sites, domains, and organizational units. I put them in this order right off the bat to get you familiar with this processing order, and it's very important as early as possible to commit this to memory. Local, site, domain, organizational unit. If you make up a mnemonic to help you memorize this, all the better. But we'll talk later on about processing order and exceptions to processing, and it helps to have this in mind. Also, a group policy, which is a collection of settings, can also apply to a local machine. So it doesn't necessarily have to be Active Directory environment for you to utilize a group policy object to manage your environment. However, sites, domain, organizational units, these are all Active Directory specific things. So most of the time, when you use a group policy, when you deploy group policy, you'll be deploying it in an Active Directory tree, forest, or a domain. What are some of the things that group policies can do? This next slide introduces you to some of these administrative abilities that group policy objects have. In fact, something that I usually tell classes is that you can think of a group policy object as your administrative lever. If you want something to happen for your domain or for the users in your domain, you make it happen through a group policy. They can be used to enforce centralized control for user and computer settings. It can manage the desktop environment and end user experience. It can control what the background looks like and what icons are on the desktop. It also can ensure that written policies, written administrative policies, become effective computing policies. Let's say, again, that you want to remove the control panel from the user's desktop or from the user's end user experience. The way that you do that is through a group policy. So we're not going to, in this introductory module, get out group policy objects. We just want to talk about what they are, what they can do, and where they can apply throughout your enterprise.